You know that feeling, right? That knot in your stomach when maybe an unexpected bill lands on your doorstep?
Or a notice from some government agency just appears out of the blue.
Yeah, or maybe even a wage garnishment you never saw coming. It's that moment where you feel completely blindsided.
Right, facing something like an IRS lane or maybe a child support demand that just feels off unjust somehow.
Or even student loan collection issues where rules seem broken, and you instantly think, well, my only option is lawyers, courts, expense, time.
That feeling of helplessness, it's really disempowering for a lot of people.
Absolutely. So today, we're diving into something that aims to cut right through that, the notarial protest. It sounds formal, maybe a bit obscure.
It can sound that way, but it's actually a powerful tool and often overlooked.
And this isn't about, courtroom drama or hiring expensive lawyers for a big fight.
No, not at all. It's a structured, really quite lawful way for individuals and even businesses actually to assert their basic rights,
Mm.
to demand due process when these administrative actions just feel like overreach.
Okay, so that's the focus. And our deep dive today, it's based on material looking at how this administrative protest idea, using some trust principles too, and this notarial remedy, how it offers a path back to control.
Right. Our mission for you listening is to really unpack what a notarial protest actually is. How does it work? And who could potentially benefit from it? It's about understanding how you can formally object, get your response on the record when claims lack maybe verified evidence.
And potentially find a remedy without ever setting foot in a traditional courtroom.
That's the key potential, yes.
Okay, good setup. So let's get into the nuts and bolts then. What exactly is a notarial protest, and what really separates it from, say, just hiring a lawyer to dispute something?
Well, at its core, think of it as your formal lawful objection. It's your carefully recorded response to what the source material calls dishonor, overreach, or administrative abuse.
So it's your voice, essentially, but made official.
Precisely. It's notarized. That's crucial recorded. And then properly served to whoever's making the claim against you. It makes your objection a solid, verifiable part of the record.
And that distinction from standard litigation, you mentioned, that's key.
Absolutely vital. This is explicitly not a lawsuit. You're not going to court. You're not sort of begging a judge to take your side.
Okay.
Instead, it's proactive. You're asserting your rights by focusing on due process. That means ensuring there's proper notice, creating a sworn affidavit detailing your protest, and establishing that undeniable formal record.
So it shifts the burden.
Exactly. It shifts the burden of proof right back onto the party making the claim. It essentially compels them to provide actual, verified, lawful evidence for what they're demanding.
You're not playing defense in their court. You're making them follow the rules up front.
That's a great way to put it. You're using the administrative framework, their own rules,
Right.
to demand they justify their actions.
You know, what really jumped out at me from the material were the specific examples. It makes it much more real than just theory. Things like child support garnishments happening without proper due process, like the established steps just weren't followed.
Right, that's a common scenario mentioned.
Or IRS liens and refund seizures that just seem to appear with no real warning or basis.
Yes, or challenges to Social Security denials, delays, even utility overbilling disputes.
Student loan collection violations, too. And the sources keep saying these remedies were achieved without going to court.
Correct, because the conventional path often seems to be agency makes demand, you need a lawyer's courtroom battle.
Right. Expensive, lengthy.
But by using these administrative law principles and the weight of that notarized recorded protest, you create this proof, solid proof that you formally challenge their claim on the record.
And that formal record, because it's notarized, carries real weight within those administrative systems.
A significant weight, yes. It forces them procedurally to respond and adhere to due process. It's about knowing the system's rules and using them effectively.
Okay, so if we're sidestepping the courtroom battles, how does this actually unfold? The material mentioned different consumer protest tiers. Is it like levels of service?
Exactly. Think of it as a structured approach, adapting to how complex the issue is. It's not just one hammer for every nail.
Makes sense. So what's tier 1 about?
Tier 1 is really focused on those, let's say, everyday issues, more common frustrations.
Like what?
Student loans come up, HOA fines, those can be really annoying. Or maybe DMV fees that just seem wrong. The source material links this to getting a bill or a charge you didn't agree to, or a charge that seemed to come out of nowhere.
Ah, okay. I think everyone can relate to that feeling. A surprise charge, a fine you think is totally unfair. So tier 1 is formally pushing back on those.
Precise.
Then, moving up the ladder, what does Tier 2 cover?
Tier 2 broadens the scope. It's geared towards handling issues with state-level agencies.
Okay, state agencies. Examples.
Things like protesting a property tax assessment you think is way too high,
Yeah.
or maybe challenging a denial from Social Security, a state benefit program where you feel the rejection was unjust.
So, bigger administrative hurdles, but still within this protest framework.
Exactly. They fit right into the structured protest method.
And then for the really serious stuff, there's Tier 3.
Yes. Tier 3 is where the issues generally become significantly more serious, often involving federal agencies.
So the IRS.
Definitely. Tier 3 tackles actions like IRS levies, those refund offsets where they just take your tax refund, and administrative liens placed against property, maybe trust property or personal assets.
Wow, okay. Those are the kinds of actions that can have a huge immediate financial impact.
They absolutely can,
Yeah.
which makes having a formal, really robust protest mechanism critical.
So across these different tiers, what are the actual tools? What does someone get or use in this protest service to make their objections stick?
Good question. Regardless of the tier, the core pieces are all about creating that undeniable record we keep talking about. So first, there's always a notarized affidavit of protest. That's your sworn statement, officially witnessed by a notary, laying out your objections clearly.
Okay, the foundation.
Then, that protest document is served via certified mail. Crucial step. It provides proof positive that the agency or creditor received it. No wiggle room there.
Proof of delivery. Got it.
For extra muscle, especially maybe in business contexts, there are optional UCC filings, Uniform Commercial Code filings. These can be used to record your standing.
Record your standing. What does that mean, practically?
It means publicly establishing your claim or interest related to an asset or debt. It can give you legal priority and leverage, particularly in commercial disputes.
Interesting. And there was something about blockchain.
Yes, for really cutting-edge verification, blockchain certification is sometimes used. It creates an absolutely immutable timestamp for your protest.
So like digital proof that can't be altered, showing exactly when you objected.
Precisely. An extra layer of undeniable proof. And importantly, all of this is managed remotely, securely, and always requires the client's explicit consent for each step.
That's comprehensive. Seems designed so no one can easily dismiss the protest or claim they weren't properly notified. Let's make this even more concrete. Can we walk through how this applies to, say, the IRS or child support? Those are areas where people feel really powerless.
Yeah, the material gives good examples. Let's take the IRS. Imagine you get a CP 2000 notice.
Okay, that's the one saying there's a discrepancy, right? Usually means they think you owe more tax.
Correct. And often it feels like there's no real chance to effectively argue your side before things escalate. Suddenly your refund is gone or your paycheck is garnished.
And the source material says people tend to.
They tend to panic, call a tax resolution firm, which can be expensive, or worse, do nothing. Just accept it.
Which is where understanding your administrative rights comes in.
Exactly. Under administrative law, you have a fundamental right to protest any claim that lacks verified evidence. The IRS is making a claim if they can't back it up with solid, lawful proof when challenged.
Your protest formally calls them out on that lack of proof.
Precisely. And the same principle applies to child support, particularly under Title IV VD, that's the federal enforcement program. If there's genuinely no verified contract, no actual evidence of debt according to the source, and garnishment is happening.
A notarial protest is an option there, too.
It is. It's about demanding proof and formally objecting when it's missing or flawed. You're essentially requiring the agency to follow its own due process rules.
So the core strategy isn't arguing the merits in court initially, but forcing the agency itself to justify its claim according to law in a way they have to acknowledge.
That's it. It's done in a lawful, structured way with notarized documents, recorded notices, and real remedies that agencies can't ignore. It uses the formality of administrative law to ensure your objection is taken seriously.
They have to provide the verified evidence for their actions to be legitimate, basically.
Yes. That formal communication demands a response that respects due process and your rights.
This sounds like a really potent tool for individuals. What about businesses? Does this notarial protest system work for them too?
Oh, absolutely. The material is clear on that. It serves small to large businesses across the country.
Because businesses face similar issues, just maybe on a different scale.
Exactly. Businesses deal with administrative overreach, unfair demands, things that can be costly and really disruptive.
Can you give some business examples?
Sure. Think about a business dealing with an unpaid vendor or client. collections aren't working, or maybe a surprise fine from the state licensing board that the business feels is totally wrong.
Okay.
Another common one mentioned is a property lien showing up against business assets that never should have been recorded.
So in those cases, the business can use this protest method to challenge the claim, demand the proof, and get their objection formally recorded.
Yes, and often much more efficiently than jumping straight into litigation.
So it helps them strategically respond with record, not reaction, as the source puts it, rather than just defensively.
Precisely. And for businesses, there can be added layers. The use of trust structures, for example.
For asset protection.
Often, yes. Asset protection, privacy, strategic management. Using those structures alongside the UCC filings and maybe the blockchain archiving really strengthens their position. It formalizes the protest and establishes a robust legal and commercial standing. Helps protect assets.
What about the cost factor? Business litigation, we know, can be astronomical, engaging big legal teams.
That's a huge point of contrast highlighted in the material. It directly compares, saying attorneys are charging $7,500 to $15,000 for trust structures you can get through our notarial process.
Okay, big difference.
Without court, without delay, and without breaking your budget.
Right.
It points to a potentially significant cost saving, a powerful, lawful alternative without those massive legal fees or drawn-out court battles.
Seems like a very pragmatic approach for businesses trying to protect their bottom line while still demanding fair treatment.
It aims to be, yes.
Okay, so let's bring this all together for you, our listener. What's the big takeaway here? This deep dive really seems to show that notarial protest is this proactive, lawful, structured way to push back against administrative overreach, against unfair demands.
Right. It offers a clear, often more efficient alternative to traditional lawsuits by focusing squarely on the record, on verified evidence, and making sure due process is followed.
It feels like it genuinely empowers people, individuals, and businesses to stand up for their rights in a way that's hard to ignore. Verifiable, undeniable.
And what's really striking, I think, is how much power can simply come from understanding and using these administrative law tools, using proper documentation.
Yeah, it's knowledge is power, literally.
If you've ever felt completely trapped by an agency demand, feeling like you had no options, well, this shows there are other pathways. Ways to assert your rights, seek remedies by making your voice, your documents count.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Here's a final thought for you. In this world, with ever more complex administrative hoops to jump through, digital demands, all of it, how much power might we be unknowingly giving away just because we don't understand our fundamental right to formally object, to demand verified proof?
Something powerful to consider as you navigate, well, the complexities of modern life.